Hey, how's it going? Bog here, aka Blaze of Glory, and just gonna take a look at a new deck that I put together after a series of defeats at recent official events for Magic the Gathering. I ended up going to Mile High Comics and ended up having to pick up a Ral Storm Caller deck. Uh, playing a base deck at Friday Night Magic, I got whooped pretty good. I think I did win one or two. But I ended up going in on Saturday for the store championship, and I ended up in last place, which was kind of a little embarrassing, I'll admit it. But I was playing this red blue deck, and some people made some suggestions, and someone suggested checking out a red aggro mono deck, and I did find a recent build online, but it was all goblins, and I've never been big into red. I don't like the goblins. I'm not a big elemental guy. But I just started off. Uh, First thing, figuring, usually with Magic, you're supposed to use the rule of fifths. So 60 card deck usually want about 24 land, but since I want to play it fast and cheap spells, I ended up going with total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Full art Zendikar lands, mountains, and another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 standard mountains. So, we got a total there of about 18 land. And I know that's really short, but I was playing with 20 for a little bit the other day with a buddy, and I just kept having too much land and not enough spells. So I'm going to go real short and try it out. Let's take a look here. First off, we've got two Gahardi Lava Runner. It's a creature human wizard. I try to actually focus in on wizards and direct damage with this deck. So everything kind of synergizes here, and we'll take a look. As long as there are 2 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard, the Lava Runner gets +1, +0, and has haste. Comes a 2/2 for 1 cast. That's pretty good. You can get him out early. We will have a lot of spells in our deck in our graveyard, so that's not a concern. He will be using his ability there. Come out later, and you can surprise someone with haste. We got 2 Spewer. Again, it's another really cheap one for 1 mana. It's a defender, but he does have tap. Spear deals damage to each player, and he's an O2, so it's a good blocker, cheap, good guy to get out, and you can do damage with him. 1, 2, 3. I went with 3. We got 4 of these guys, but I slimmed it down to 3. Electrostatic Fields, another creature, a wall. Defender again, it's an 0/4. But again, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Electrostatic Field deals 1 damage to each opponent. So you get those out, and they're keeping the little blockers out. Can run interference here and whatnot, but it also can be used to boost the damage that you're sending out anyways. Now these guys here, I've got 4 of these, and these were some of the more expensive cards to get. A lot of the 4 sets were going for $9. I ended up getting these for a total of about $225 each. Runaway Steamkin just costs 1 colorless and 1 mountain to get out. It's a creature elemental. And whenever you cast a red spell, if Runaway Steamkin has fewer than 3 +1/+1 counters on it, put a +1/+1 counter on Runaway Steamkin. Remove 3 +1/+1 counters from Runaway Steamkin, add 3 red mana. It's a 1/1, can become a 4/4 as it builds up, which gives it some attacking power. And then you also have a reservoir of mana when you get some of the bigger spells or finishers, or you want to activate a few of them in one turn. I think that's a great card, and should prove very effective. Now next up, I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of these guys. I really like them. They're again cheap, just 2 to get out. They'll be out fast. They're 2/1, so good little mini attackers. But when Vishano Pyromancer enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to target player or a planeswalker. The fact that you can do it to a planeswalker or a player is great. It's effectively a surprise haste move when it comes out. Does some direct damage. And I like that it also gives you a planeswalker. I don't expect to see a lot of those guys, but can't hurt. You got 4 of them in there. This was another one that I think at first I ended up having to pay $4 or $5. So like maybe $1 a card, maybe 80 cents. I can't remember for sure. I think I might have even had 2 of them and I just bought 2. But he's a creature goblin shaman, so he's not a wizard. He doesn't boost off of that. But whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Gather Snipe deals 2 damage to each opponent. It costs 3 to get out, so he's cheap, and he's going to be doing a lot of extra damage. Basically, he doubles the... Oh gosh, I can't remember what it is. There's one in here with Jump Back Later that has 2 damage, but it'll double that. Now, this was probably the most expensive card I think I paid. I can't remember. I don't know. I didn't pay too much. I didn't pay more than $4 a card, basically. I might have paid $2.50 each. I think I got 2 of them for $5 or $6 on eBay. But that's Jaya Ballard. I don't know. Let's see if I can focus. There we go. It's a legendary planeswalker, Jaya. +1 loyalty counter. Add 3 red. Spend this man only cast instant or sorcery spells, but that lets you cast an extra lightning bolt or direct bolt, precision bolt. I think that's what it is each turn. +1, so she doesn't have a -1, which is pretty cool. She's just going to be building up, but discard up to 3 cards, then draw that many cards, and that's going to be key because you'll be able to build up some cards you don't need in your hand and be able to cycle, which is something that's lacking with red. I've been having trouble finding good cycling cards for red. No real draw cards. Now I did, we'll see in another review later this week, I did address that by building a red-blue deck with some draw power, so we'll check it out. Finally, -8 loyalty. You get an emblem with you may cast instant and sorcery cards from your graveyard. If a card cast this way, it would be put into your graveyard, exile instead. That is going to let you tap into everything you've already hit them with. And I don't even know if you're going to need it. You just want her mostly for the mana boost. It's effectively 3 extra land per turn, which is great. Now we're going to get into the spells here. And first off, we're going to go cheap to expensive again. Cheapest in here, we got 1 mana. Shock deals 2 damage to any target. Real cheap. Get some direct damage going. You can hit them right off the bat, first move of the turn, and people don't like that. I believe there's a lot of different versions of these cards out there too, from older sets, so they're not very expensive. Again, most of these, if I don't even mention it, it's probably 20 cents a card or something like that. Lightning Strike, 2 to send out here. Deals 3 damage to any target. This was one card that someone did recommend to me as I was using a lot of precision bolts in my Ral Storm Caller deck in there. Like, man, this is an easy switch because it's 1 cheaper and it does the exact same thing from M19. So definitely packed up 4 of those guys. Now with Dominaria cards, I do have some in here. It said still valid. I might have to switch them out at some point here to keep the deck up to date. But it's another instant Wizard's Lightning here. It usually costs 1 mountain and 2 colorless mana to get out. However, I like this one because the spell costs 2 less to cast if you control a wizard, which the deck is loaded with wizards. Deals 3 damage to any target. So while it's 3, like Precision Bolt, more than Lightning Strike, it can actually be cheaper than Lightning Strike too, which is great. It's another reason I've got 3 of these guys. Skewer the Critics. Not really a bolt, but if you can, it's 3 to cast out. But if you already cast one out, just cost 1 with Spectacle. You may cast a spell for its Spectacle cost rather than its mana cost if an opponent lost life this turn, which opponents will be losing life almost every turn this game. And it does 3 damage to any target, so you can use it on creatures if needed. Direct current, that's the one I was trying to think of earlier. I've just got 3 of those. I do have another one in here on the sideboard, I believe. But like I was saying, it costs 3. You'll double that up with Gutter Snipe to 4, though. So it just does 2 damage to any target. And I do like having some jump starts in there. You may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a card in addition to paying its other costs. Then exile this card. So it gives you something, even if you don't have cards in your hand, you can tap into it. Now this card was a little expensive. I'm going to have to add more of these, I think, because I do like it a lot. Electro Dominance, 2 mountains and X colorless. It's an instant. Deals X damage to any target, and you may cast a card with converted mana cost X or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. So for 5, if you end up tapping 5 here, you're going to do 3 damage, and you'll be able to cast like a Precision Bolt or Wizard's Lightning for free from your hand. Wizard's Lightning, actually, even if you have a couple, cast a few of them because of the other modifiers. So I'm probably going to add some more Electro Dominance, but again, that is one of the more expensive cards. I ended up ordering one for like $250, $280 or something with shipping, but I didn't want to pay like $10 for 4 of them. Now, I already had one of these, so I just need to pick up a couple. But I actually, no, don't use my codes. That's the separator for the sideboard. The last spells I've got in here are going to be 3 Jaya's A Molting Inferno. You may cast a legendary sorcery only if you control a legendary creature or planeswalker. Jaya's A Molting Inferno does X damage to each of up to 3 targets. So for the same cost there, 2 mountains and X, you're going to be able to blast 3 of them. So take out a couple creatures and target the player. So I like that a lot. Total deck size here again is 60 cards. I will put the deck list up. I'll update it after I put this post it to YouTube here. I did just recently launch the website officially, aka bog.com. Really easy to remember. Not much there right now. Probably will add this video here shortly. But if you get a chance, check it out. And there's a lot more to come on the site. So, guys have